Avatar.
And let me tell you, Last Airbender.
Yeah, not the blue people.
Not the blue people. Very important. We're not doing that crossover yet.
Yeah.
Although there's been a lot of memes on that.
Yeah, apparently the actor that played General Zhao, when he auditioned, he thought it was the blue people Avatar.
I saw that, and you know what I love? That just fits Zhao to me. Like, I love that. And I don't know the actor's name. I always just call him Miles from Lost.
Yeah.
But I love seeing lost people in other shows. And so we see a couple of them. So we got news, but one of the things we wanted to do was review season 1 because we both watched it. And honestly, it is just being hated.
Yeah. For why?
Everyone hates this show.
Yeah.
Do we?
Didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it.
I'm going to be honest.
Way more than I thought.
We watched the first 2 episodes together, right?
Yeah.
And like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes into the first one, I was like, this might be too soon. But I was like, is it just me or is this like awesome?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it might be because like we went into it kind of looking to hate it.
Yes. Yeah, the expectations were super low.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, you got the live action movie. And when that came out, I was very hyped for it. And then, of course, what happened. And we don't have to relive that past, okay?
The live action movie didn't happen.
Yeah, there is no live action movie in Ba Sing Se. So we knew that this was probably going to suck. At best, be meh.
Yeah, because like everything leading up to it, like the creators left, like they taken out like pivotal like character traits, like Sokka being sexist.
Yeah, and being very proud about how, like, you know, they said that there was a lot of aged concepts in the original show. And, you know, for me, that's my favorite show of all time. I think it's the single-handed, like, best show ever created. It's such tight storytelling that utilizes animation really, really well. Yeah. And
like really great fight choreography in the animated series.
Yeah, and music and some
of
the best score ever.
Like everything's like
character, world building, like so much going on. So of course you're not going to make something as good as
that. Like you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think we proved that with Korra. You know, Legend of Korra, which a lot of people love, some people don't. I'm kind of on the fence on that myself, but you know that's why I was going into the live action with kind of lowered. Yeah. But I just gotta be honest, I didn't like it.
You loved it?
I loved it, and I am very surprised. I thought for sure I was at best I was gonna think it was meh. I was gonna trudge through it. And I'm gonna be honest. I watched it in about 2 days.
Wow.
Like I loved it so much. I watched 4 episodes the first day, and then I rewatched like episode 3 and 4 with our friends Kyle and Jordan the next day. And then I watched the other 4 episodes after that. Like I stayed up all night and just watched them. It's beautiful. I love it.
I didn't love it that much, but I still really liked it.
Yeah, and of course I got to say this because people are going to rip me apart for it. They're going to be like, oh, you think it's better than the original? Of course not. I hate that we have to compare them because they're very different, obviously. Yeah. But you do have to compare them. It is a live action remake. But so far the only like debate that I've heard that holds any water is it doesn't deserve to exist because the original is already perfect. So why remake it? I agree with this, but since it does exist, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we got the best possible version of that.
We really did, and they changed so much that works so well.
Yeah, and I think like I don't really like that argument that like it shouldn't exist because like they do different things and take it in a new direction. Like having it be like more serious and grounded, I feel like is an interesting direction to take something like a children's cartoon.
Yeah, and I've said this maybe too much in this one podcast, but I like that it has balls. Yeah. It has huevos, and it knows its character so well that it changes some pretty pivotal character points.
Yeah, like the second episode, like when they take out that whole thing of Katara stealing that book. Yeah. Just having it be Gran giving it to her.
Having the scroll being from Gran.
Yeah, I like that way better.
Me too. I feel like it actually fixed a problem in the original where that feels kind of out of character for her in that arc. And I know a lot of people hate that. Oh, Gran just has the scroll now. I think it works better than
her. It makes sense. Like they're water tribe.
Yeah, and then like when Iroh loses his son, they have a funeral scene, which is not in the animated at all. And I cried during that scene.
Yeah, where Zuko just like sits next to him.
I always get like the parts that make me cry in movies aren't like when it's sad music and stuff. Usually, I mean, they did do a motif of Leaves on the Vine.
Like that was.
And the music is so
getting
good.
Chills just thinking about it.
I know.
It's cold. But
I've rewatched that scene like multiple times because it's such a great scene. And for character, it really strengthens Iroh and Zuko's bond.
Yeah, I feel like they flesh out Iroh and Zuko way more in the live action, which I really like.
Yeah, and a lot of people complain because they're doing so much in 8 episodes. Yeah. So the first season of the original is like, what, 24 episodes?
Yeah.
And this one's 8, so like, Jet is in Omashu. And I know a lot of people are mad, like the Mechanist who Danny Pudi plays.
I did not recognize that as Danny Pudi.
So happy to see him. And then when I originally saw like the way he was dressed, I was like, oh, that's not going to come off well, is it?
Another thing, like all the trailers and like the posters, like the hair and makeup just looked off, but it worked in the show.
It all worked, especially Boomy. That was a lot of what they were putting out, was that fight with Boomy, King Boomy. And when you see it in the context of the show, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
But like that one Instagram post they did, I don't know what they did. It's just the way they cropped it just looked awful.
Because when we saw that, we were like, oh boy. Yeah. Because the first trailer they dropped of this looked pretty good, but who knows? Yeah. They're changing so much was one of the issues we kept hearing. So we were like, who knows? And then when we watched it, I mean, I'll be honest, they changed a bunch. And almost all of it works for me. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think of one change that doesn't work for me. And off the top of my head, I can't really find anything.
For me, it was Azula lightning bending. For me,
sure. I've heard a lot of people say that.
Because like I feel like that takes away from a lot of Zuko's character arc in 2 and 3. And like I just wish they made her fire blue.
I mean, I'm with you, but I also like that they kind of preface like the whole like she breathes deep and stuff. So like we're actually probably going to dive into what she's doing there and how she's doing it in later seasons. And so, yeah, seasons 2 and 3 got greenlit. I don't know if we said that yet.
But that was the news, yeah.
But that's the news. But we're excited because it was actually good. And I know that it's really split. So my biggest fear is that they're going to pull a Disney or a Sony and they're going to react to this and be like, okay, well, in that case, we'll just do frame by frame or maybe even change it more. I mean, if you ask me, they got the formula right.
Yeah. I don't think they will because from what I'm seeing, like, people don't hate it. They just think it's just nowhere near as good as the original.
Yeah, which is, I think that's a fair statement, but I think if you went in, especially after that Sham Hammer disaster that doesn't exist, if you went in thinking it was going to be as good, a little bit on you. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if it was a brand new, like, it's never had a live action thing, we've been waiting all this time, I would understand. And I kind of still understand. Yeah. But, like, we've already been down this road. You know that meme that's, like, first time? That's kind of, I'm the first time James Franco guy, okay? Yeah. So
it's your first time being up on that rope.
Yeah, it's not the first time. I've been here, okay? But yeah, everything they changed for me just works really well. They combined episodes. Jet is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I love Jet.
I love Jet. I mean, every character is still very recognizably their character.
Yeah, like
but
Zuko.
Also different.
How does he sound exactly like Dante Bosco?
That threw me off multiple times because you would hear him, especially like he'd be off screen and you hear Dante Bosco 100%. Yeah. And then they cut to him and you're still hearing Dante Bosco, but that is not his face. Yeah. It's not Dante's face.
It's weird. Is that like his stepson or something?
I don't know. I think casting was perfect though, all over. Iroh, he's so good. I've heard people saying how he's not as endearing. What are y'all watching?
What are you smoking?
That scene, that funeral scene, I'll go back to that. Some of the best acting I've seen in a show ever. Like, just, he embodies everything that's beautiful about Iroh.
Like, even Sokka's
perfect. There are some lines that he would say, and I'd be like, huh, that sounds like the original. And then I'm like, wait, is that line in the original? And it's not. It just feels like Sokka so much.
Yeah, because like I've seen like interview with like the actor, and like he's like really funny. Like someone asked him like, "Hey, what do you think the weakest tribe?" And he's like, "Airbender." It's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Where your homies at?"
Yeah. Because the kid that plays Aang is like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Where your homies at?" And what I love is, so I saw that on like Facebook or something, and then all the comments are like, "I wish he would have brought that sense of humor into the show."
He did.
Did we watch different cuts?
I think. Is everyone else getting a different cut of this show?
Maybe. I mean, comment below if y'all are seeing a bad one, because I know it's very split. Yeah. It seems to be like there are people like us that mostly the people that love it are very surprised. Yeah. Because like I did not expect it, and I did not expect having to defend the show. Okay. Yeah. It's a weird position to be in the camp.
We will die on this hill. Me not so much, but he.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I loved it. Like it I will probably rewatch it. Like when we watched the first episode, we were like, it's good, but obviously not as good as the original. And I'm not going to revisit it. Like we revisit the original all the time.
Yeah.
I'll rewatch that a couple times, maybe not a couple times a year, but definitely once a year. Right. And I do Korra as well, even though it's not as good of a show.
Yeah,
and
I still haven't finished Korra.
We'll get you into it because it's still a great story. Like there's so many good Avatar elements in that show. But if you ask me, and this is probably very controversial, the live action of Airbender is way better than Korra because it has a strong direction.
Yeah.
And it follows it to a T. Now, will seasons 2 and 3 have a strong direction? Remains to be seen.
I hope they do.
It looks like they know the characters and the story and the world so well.
Yeah, and
they can do whatever they want and it still fits.
Yeah, I'm excited to see like where they go.
Yes.
Like what they change and like how they try to improve it and like make it fit that 8-episode format.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they do with Toph.
I'm really excited. A little nervous for Toph too, just because Toph, unlike the rest of the characters, hasn't been done in live action.
Yeah.
So she's currently untainted.
What if they go completely off the wall and go for the original idea of Toph? It's just a giant buff man.
A lot of people have been saying that, but I don't think they will because I do think they're going to try to be less ballsy, actually. And I hope they don't. I hope they keep with the same thing. And at this point, change what you want to change, honestly.
If they decide to make Toph the Rock and it's a giant buff man.
Now, a lot of people are saying, for the love of God, please make the Rock the boulder.
Yeah.
Please cast the Rock as the boulder.
I feel like they have to.
I feel like they have to. If not, I'm going to cry a little.
Yeah. We're going to be a little mad.
I'm going to be a little mad. And that's the thing, too. Like, they've proven to me that with season 1, they're trying to cram a lot of, like, what makes the show special in there. They got the Cabbage guys there.
Yeah.
They got Secret Tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was and they combined it into other things going on in such smart ways.
Yeah.
Like I get why people are kind of jarred by that. Like it's kind of jarring that that Jet, the Mechanist, and the Secret Tunnel are all happening in Omashu.
Yeah, in the same episode.
Yeah, I get that. That's a lot of compacting. But the fact that they did that and
it worked and it meshed well.
Yeah, it holds all the intents of the original stuff. So that's the best you can hope for. I think.
Yeah, and like I see like a lot of people complaining that they made Aang more serious and he's not goofing around and going on adventures. But I feel like that makes sense more if like the world is at war.
Right, and I feel like he's still that goofy kid. Like he's still Aang to me.
Yeah.
He's just. I know a lot of people were like our friend Seth was very pissed about no penguin sledding.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, first of all, we have some stuff that we can do later on.
Yeah.
So maybe they could throw that.
People are getting flamed in the middle of the streets.
And I kind of like that Aang is like, he has that guilt that Aang has from the original series, but in this one he takes it seriously like way too much, like it's crushing him.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I know it's a little different than Aang because Aang, one of the reasons he goose off is to avoid the crushing, guilt, pain of that. But and also like they changed in the first episode when he runs off. It's more of he runs off to clear his head.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, they make him more mature.
I love that. Yeah, it works so well. And I totally get the people that just would rather watch the original, of course.
Yeah.
It's the original cannot be tainted. Yeah. But that being said, I mean, the live action did what I thought was impossible. Came pretty close.
Yeah.
Which all you can hope
Great.
for. So maybe we'll get some seasons 2 and 3. I'm very excited for it.
I hope when they like shoot back to back and we get like 2 and 3 like back to back in a year.
I think that's the plan. So what's funny is this reminds me a lot of Netflix's A Series of Unfortunate Events. It was my favorite book series as a kid. And when the first season came out, they put it out and then they crossed their fingers to see if it would work. And then that one was kind of split, but it wasn't as popular. So like I know people that hate it and I know people like me that just I love it. I adore it. But they also did the 2 and 3 because the kids were growing so fast they had to do 2 and 3 back to back.
Yeah.
So I think that's the plan for this, and it's smart. And what's funny about that show too is they understood the source material really well, and they changed all kinds of stuff, and I loved every second of it because it built on characters, it built on situations that didn't happen in the book, but it does happen on screen. So same for this one. It didn't happen in the original, maybe no funeral for Liu Tan, but
yeah,
it works so well.
And so we're probably not going to get a Tales of Ba Sing Se episode.
That's what a lot of people were mad about with that scene.
I feel like it's a good substitute. Like it's still emotionally impactful.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be able to capture that same like impact that the Tales of Ba Sing Se had.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like Tales from Ba Sing Se is one of the best episodes. But will that episode work in live action? Not in the way it is.
Nah.
Because it's different vignettes happening throughout Ba Sing Se. And it's really like a filler episode.
Yeah.
But that's what's amazing about the original is you could take a filler episode and make it so phenomenal that it feels like it's a cornerstone of the show.
Yeah.
And of the characters, because it is for Iroh, right? But I think they've accomplished that in this episode already.
Yeah.
So I think they're making smart choices, and I don't mind that Azula's already there.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like that, but
yeah, and like a lot of people didn't like that. They saw the Fire Lord so early.
Yeah, but to me, like, so if y'all remember in the movie that doesn't exist, they like just casually show the Fire Lord, and you're like, oh, that's him. Oh wow, they didn't build that up at all. At least there was a little build up, and like when they show him, he's menacing.
Yeah, he's scary.
He's scary. And yes, of course, they got the shirtless scene of him too. Got to get shirtless Ozai in there.
Cliff Curtis, where
where you at, Cliff?
Yeah.
Huh? Can't keep up with Daniel Day. Kevin.
Yeah,
Come
no.
on. Yeah, and the casting, I know people don't like May and Ty Lee.
Not there.
They looked fine to me.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to look like they're 30-year-old, 16-year-old girls.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not anime characters.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and the fact that they didn't do much is fine because it is season 1.
Yeah, they didn't exist in season
They
1.
weren't there, yeah. So just I would say if you haven't watched it and you're kind of intrigued, like I've told all my friends that just won't watch the original cartoon, like Rob is one of them, to watch this.
Yeah.
Because it's a good introduction to it. It's not as good, obviously, but the barrier of old, 2000 animation isn't there for people that don't like cartoons. Like I know several people that refuse to watch the original because it's just old and cartoon and
Shame on you.
Yeah, shame on them. But it does help the accessibility of that show.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you that some of my friends are going to watch this and love it so much that they go back and watch the original. I know that's going to happen. I hope it happens with Rob, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Like I said, the animation's a real game changer for him. It's a game stopper. But yeah, so that's all our thoughts on that.
Yeah, hyped. Hopefully, Jenna Ortega is Toph. That'd be great.
That would be awesome. I don't think they have the budget for it, but that'd be awesome.
I don't know. Like, she's the next Netflix girl.
That is
Wednesday.
true. Yeah. Maybe so. Didn't she have some production issues on Wednesday though?
I think like she was fighting hard because like she's like, oh, Wednesday wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But like
maybe she'll do the same for Toph. Toph wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Like Toph wouldn't wear sandals.
I just hope that they keep all the blind jokes.
Yeah.
Because I was worried with the sexism thing. They took some of the sexism out. I think they still worked around it.
Yeah.
And he's still sexist enough.
Yeah.
He's just not, he's
like
not
someone should put a bell on you.
That first line was, I had to rewind, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because it was just, the delivery was awesome. And I say that to every woman now. I'm like, someone put a bell on you. But yeah, I think it works so well.
Yeah.
So we recommend it. That's our recommendation.
Hype for season 3. Keep that same energy.
Super hype. And 2. We'll skip right through 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hyped for it. But yeah, boys and girls, that's our show. Thank you for joining us. Let us know what else you like to see in the comments below.
Yeah.
And
what's your fan cast for Toph and why is it Jenna Ortega?
yeah. And Jenna, there's a seat right there for you.
Yeah.
So okay, bye everybody.
Bye.